So, after the events of Kill Saga X Killer Ted the Syndicate, they just took on arguably some of the most powerful characters within their universe, within their world. And so it's at that point where it's like, where do you go from here? In terms of physical threats, you faced some of the toughest ones. You, in the first crossover, faced off against Ted and Nukenvope, which at that point, in terms of what existed for those two series, those were the strongest characters. You faced off against both of them. Then in the Syndicate, you face off against arguably the strongest team. Right? So you face off against the strongest plushes, then the strongest team. So what's left to do, to show how these characters handle different situations? Well, in my opinion, it was for them to deal with their own issues, their own dilemmas. So this came in the form of Demon Kill, right? So Demon Kill became a character within this time period all the way up until the next crossover, which is Warzone. Demon Kill became something that kind of seemingly started changing Kill, right? Like, of course, Kill was still like a snarky, snarky, cocky, kind of person. Like, he became that on his way to the second crossover. Before that, Kill was, very much like a shy, not gonna get too involved, like, he wasn't confident of himself. All the way up until the Syndicate, his confidence started building. And so now he's just a really cocky, confident person. Well, you start to see that change with him due to Demon Kill. In Kill Saga Origins, there is an argument that's had between Demon Kill and Kessler. And they begin fighting and arguing, talking about whether or not the actions that Demon Kill took in order to win against the Syndicate are justified. If it's okay to do what he did. Did he cross a line? And so there's definitely these different kinds of viewpoints that both of these characters have. Kessler believes that Demon Kill went too far, and Demon Kill believes that he did what he had to do. It doesn't matter what kind of steps he had to take to get there. And where Kessler says there are some things that could have been done differently, for instance, you didn't have to torture them. Kessler believes that when you torture someone, you're enjoying causing them pain, and that's not their job to do. If they need to kill someone, that's one thing. Like, you need to sometimes do that. Case in point, with cops and whatnot, sometimes they're going to have to kill someone if, it's for the greater good. That's the philosophy that Kessler has. Sometimes you have to kill people if it needs to be done, but it does not mean you torture them, because that's a different level of, stuff. Whereas Demon Kill believes that as long as you get the job done, it doesn't matter how it gets done. Because at the end of the day, his philosophy is that if you look at a hunter will go stalk its prey, hunt it down, and kill it. And he could skin it alive, he could torture it, he could bash it in, he could do all these horrible things to the animal, but you wouldn't care. Because at the end of the day, once you get your finished product, aka being your meal, it could be, burgers, or it could be chicken, or anything. Once you get your meal, you don't care. You don't really think of what had to happen for you to get that meal, because it's not any concern to you. You didn't have to see it. And up until you do have to see it, you don't really care. And that's Demon Kill's philosophy, is that if you didn't see what I did, you wouldn't be this upset. And that's his philosophy, and he's trying to say basically that because you would be so different if you hadn't seen it, if you hadn't seen what I did, you wouldn't be complaining. You have no right to complain. That's his philosophy. And so those, different, viewpoints go on for some time with, the episodes to follow after, deciding whether or not, the way that Demon Kill operates is a little too far. And that's basically where it starts to drive a rift in between some of the team members, between Kill and the others. And it's mostly between Kill and Kessler. But firstly, Kill Saga Origins, we get the origins of Matt, Kessler, and Kill. Now, of course, when it came to Kill, the origin of Kill had already been somewhat talked about. Now, when I had released Kill Saga Origins, a lot of my friends were really anticipating what Kessler's origin would be like. And when they saw it, they were all really happy and whatnot. They were like, this is a really good origin. Depressing, but really good. Now, when it came to Kessler and Matt's origin, because I've already talked somewhat about Kill's origin, Matt's origin, I had thought of doing something like that where his origin could be left up into the air of whether or not you want to take it as depressing or take it as something else. So, with Matt, he has a lot of mystery towards his origin. You don't know what is up with him because everything that he says in Origins is all that he knows. There's not anything else he knows. Everything that we find out in Origins, he knows. That's all he knows. So it leaves a lot of intrigue when it comes to his origin because you can fill in a lot of the blanks. And who knows, maybe any of those could be true up until this point. Because as of right now, in terms of this storyline that's going on right now, no one knows what happened to Matt's, family. All that can be based off of is that they left. And there were some theories as to what happened to Matt's family. That was brought up by some of my friends that were like, oh, maybe the death of his dad was too much and the mom left, or maybe something was wrong with Matt and they left, or maybe something else spooked them, or maybe they're dead. Like, it led to a lot of, thinking about what could be Matt's origin. And funny enough, because of his origin, some of my friends actually who never really liked the character of Matt, other than watching him Killer Ted, because they always felt like Matt didn't really serve any purpose with the rest of the team, they actually started to like him because of his origin, because it showed him in a different light, and they actually began to like him. Now, when it came to Kessler, I was really happy with how I handled his origin, because it not only, illustrated why he wears a certain kind of costume, why he wears the mask, why he never takes it off. If you go back to any episode of the series, which I am swearing up and down, I am more than certain I'm correct. I don't want to go back through 50 videos currently. I think it's like 50 plus videos to make sure, but I'm more than certain that this is the case. Kessler never takes off his mask. And his mask is never taken off of him. Yes, the first time that Kessler is about to die, his mask is like up to here, but it's not off. And explains why Kessler never takes off his mask, why, he always keeps it on, why he wears a certain kind of suit, and why he acts the way he acts. And people were very satisfied with how I handled that, and honestly, I was really satisfied with how I did Kessler's origin. This leads into Kill Saga, Night Shift, which Night Shift was basically where Kill, you can tell in the episode that Kill knows that people are coming to the house. And so he had warned the team in advance to be prepared. 3 soldiers enter the house, and they immediately try to, it seems, to kill the team while they're sleeping. And Kill, knowing that they were coming, we don't know how he knew, but he just did. Kill knows that they're coming, and so they slowly take down each and every single one of the soldiers one by one. And Kill is eventually confronted by this villain that goes by and says basically that he's going to make Kill live his worst nightmares because apparently these soldiers are here for the Syndicate's bodies. And so when Kill says, like, I'm not going to give you the bodies, like, they're gone, the character says, I'm going to make you live your worst nightmares, and without even looking, Kill ends up, killing him. And Kill shrugs it off, like if the death doesn't really faze him, like if it doesn't bother him, he's like, whatever. Which the other characters have done similar things when it came to killing, but not to the degree of which how Kill did it. He did it as if like he was stepping on an ant, like if it was nothing to him. He just slit his throat and says, good night everyone, and goes to bed and sleeps soundly. And that kind of started making the others wary of him, because they're like, okay, this is a little different, because yeah, Kill has killed people before, but this seems a little different, This leads into Kill Saga the Bomb, which Kill Saga the Bomb is basically where you find out that there is what seemingly is a bomb that's been planted in this building. There are hostages inside, so the team is sent in to go and rescue the hostages, take down the terrorists, and dismantle the bomb. Well, they go in, take down the terrorists, and they find out that the bomb is not exactly a bomb, it's what they call a seismic disruptor, which, as told by Kill, is basically a device that plants itself into the ground, and it can't be moved or can't be too much touched, or it'll go off. And the reason why this is such a dangerous device is because if it goes off, it will cause a localized earthquake enough to take down a building, and if it hits a fault line, an entire city or more. And so this immediately starts like, oh shit, like we gotta stop this. So he sends Kessler, Ted, and Dr. Nukenvope to use their telekinesis to hopefully maybe stop the shockwaves from hitting the fault line. And in the meantime, he's trying to save the hostage. The issue is that he can't do that because the chains are made of hellfire. And when he realizes that these chains are made of hellfire, that these terrorists have a seismic disruptor, and they only seem to have one or two hostages, it's like this is a setup. This has to be a setup because it doesn't make any sense. Like with these kinds of weapons and devices, they could have just attacked a bank, get tons of money. They could have attacked a government building, but instead they attacked this random building. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So while Kill can't save the hostage, he stays with her in her last breaths, and she ends up dying. And Kessler, Ted, and Nukenvope are able to stop the seismic shockwaves from hitting the fault line with their telekinesis, but they all end up passing out basically. And Kill is left with the girl that's dead. At the end of the episode, you can see that Kessler is talking to Techie, talking about how he's found something that the demon can't handle, that being a hellfire chain. And this sparks intrigue in Techie, saying, alright, yeah, this is something I can work with, which will become very important in the future. This leads into the Grandmaster video. The Grandmaster shows up and says, hey, I want you all to come to my tournament. This is a tournament of, many great abilities. If you come join me, and you win this tournament, your team versus a team that I set up, if you win, you will get two things. You'll get a wish where you can ask for almost anything, and you also get a wish of knowledge where you can ask about anything. In particular, if you want to ask about Kill's father, you can ask anything. So this intrigues the team. He shows them that he's capable of actually, possibly, doing these wishes, and the team accepts. He also tells them that, Techie's going to have to be calling them soon because something's going on. Techie ends up calling them, tells them he's under attack, and Matt and Nukenvope end up staying with him at the ER while Kill, Kessler, and Ted talk about how they're going to handle this. Kill tells Kessler, hey, look, I want to handle this on my own. And this is where Kill's cockiness that started after the Syndicate really gets into full-on, just way too much. Because it is told to Kill that this character, this one that attacked Techie, also attacked the Hero Agency, which is obviously an agency full of heroes. And he killed 5 heroes by himself. And he's considered extremely dangerous. Kill, while still hearing about this, is so cocky and so determined that his abilities can handle just about anything that he basically ignores anyone's pleading to help him in this fight, saying that we can help you, we can back you up, and he says, no, I'm less likely to die, because he's just so cocky at this point. It's almost like he just doesn't think he could ever lose, which is starting to become a character flaw for Kill that he may or may not have to come over in the future. So what ends up happening is Kill ends up tracking down this individual, and he before he leaves, he also tells Kessler, hey, look, if I don't contact you in 5 hours, you come looking for me. Otherwise, I'll be fine. Kill goes, tracks down this guy, and it seems like this guy is at a house, and he was waiting for Kill. And he has a bunch of traps, and he ends up using these traps to his advantage to slow down Kill. And during this entire time, Kill realizes this guy has no powers. This guy is just with a bunch of weapons. And so he's so cocky and so confident in his abilities that he doesn't transform into Demon Kill. He just doesn't do it. because he's just so confident that he can take this guy down because he's just a regular guy. And he's proven wrong when this man is able to outsmart him, get him stabbed in the leg. Kill ends up collapsing because of the stab, and when he tries to get up to attack him, the man uses a paralysis gun that he stole from Techie to immediately take down Kill. This leads into part 2 of Warzone, where Kessler and Ted come in, who are immediately jumped by Commando. They are immediately jumped, and they are taken down as well. Matt and Dr. Nukenvope, hearing about this, come in. Dr. Nukenvope ends up taking on Commando as best as that he can, while in the meantime, Matt saves the rest of the team. Matt ends up saving the entire team, ends up untying them, saving them, and this leads to the team assembling all together, and Kill finally taking this threat seriously and transforming into Demon Kill to take down Commando. And they end up taking him down, but at the end of the episode, there's a price to be paid, where Commando ends up throwing what seemingly is a flashbang, but when he throws it, it ends up seemingly doing something to Matt, like burning his eyes. After this leads into Commando having had escaped from the heroes, and he's giving what seems to be a vial of blood to an unknown, person. And the person says, "Did you get everyone's blood?" And he says, "This is Kill, Kessler, and Ted's blood." And he says, "Don't worry, this is more than enough. We'll be satisfied." So, then after that, this leads into Kill Saga Eyes. This is where we learn what happened to Matt. In Kill Saga Eyes, we find out that basically, whatever this flashbang had, it had some things that tweaked it just a little bit, and it was not like a normal flashbang. And what it seems to be doing is making Matt go blind. So Matt now has to wear glasses or contacts. And this, devastates Matt. And it's told by Techie that Matt could possibly go fully blind within the course of a year or less. He doesn't know, but at most, Matt has a year left of his eyesight. This devastates everyone, and this gets everyone really upset. Kill ends up talking to Matt, and Matt ends up having basically a breakdown. This leads into Kill Saga Informant, where basically Dr. Nukenvope says, "Hey, I think I know someone who could possibly find us, Commando, so we can get our revenge." And so he ends up contacting someone. They end up, Kill and Kessler and Dr. Nukenvope all go and talk to this individual. Well, when they go to meet him, it's a character named Pillowy. And Pillowy basically says, "Hey, look, I can find him, but how do I know that I could even get anything worthwhile in return?" Kill, again, being quite cocky, is "Hey, we're responsible for killing the Syndicate. Any goal that you wish to accomplish could be that, it could be that much more easy to accomplish with the fact that you're on a team of people who are feared for what they've already done." And so Pillowy agrees and ends up joining. Ends up contacting one of his, allies, Spiderball, who ends up finding out where Commando is, and they all go to take him down. In the meantime, while Kill Saga X Killer Ted Warzone Part 4 is going on, Killer Ted 13 is also going on. Killer Ted 13 is more of a episode to focus more on the relationship between Matt and Ted. This focuses on what Matt really does mean to Ted. So when Ted comes in to terrorize and, chase, Matt like he normally does, instead, when Ted realizes how devastated Matt is, that he just isn't exactly the same like he usually is, he ends up comforting him instead, and the episode ends. This leads into Kill Saga Warzone Part 4, where Pillowy, Spiderball, Nukenvope, Kessler, and Kill all team up to find and take down Commando. They end up finding him, and to be honest, they all just jump and beat the shit out of him. They take him down, and this whole thing is showing basically what Matt means to them. This whole crossover is about basically what Matt means to them, and also how cocky and how detrimental Kill's cockiness can be at times. That's what this crossover is mostly focusing on, is how the team views Matt and how cocky, you know, Kill is and how bad that could be at times. That's what this whole crossover is about. But they take down Commando for Matt to bring him back so that Matt can basically get his closure if he needs it somehow, like whether it's killing him or beating him up himself, basically that. So they bring him back. They say, if you're going to go and torture him or beat him up or whatever, he's tied up already. He's been searched of all weapons. And 3, you're going in with Ted. You are not going in there alone. And so he's like, all right, that's fine. Thanks, guys. He goes in, and he starts to beat up Commando. And as he beats up Commando, realizing that he's never going to have his eyesight again, when all he's been wanting this entire time is to kill Commando because he feels like he needs to do this to feel closure, to feel whole again. When he's finally about to do it and just beat the fuck out of him and kill him himself, because Commando can't do anything. He's tied up, he has no weapons, no nothing. And also he's already been beaten up by the team. So when Matt's finally thinking about killing him and just ending him, he can't do it. He just says, at the end of the day, like, I'm not a killer. I can't do this. Like, I'll get my closure some other way. I can't kill you. And this leads to Kill and Kessler coming in. They come into the room. They talk to Commando, and they show him, like, look, we did try everything to save your wife, because his wife ended up dying in the explosion of Kill Saga the bomb. They tried everything, and they couldn't save her. And so they try to show him everything. He basically agrees with them that it seems like it's a setup. And with that in mind, he tells them, hey, look, I agree with you that this is a setup. I've seen enough setups to basically know this looks fishy. I'll keep in touch with you. If we ever cross paths again, maybe we'll be on the same team. And he leaves. When Kill basically realizes that Commando agrees with them that this is a setup, it pisses him off. And now it's just wondering who set this up. Who was the one that killed Commando's wife? And who would go through such lengths to kill him? And the theory is tossed around that it might be the Supreme Director, which then points more fingers towards Kill's father, but Kill at this point does not know that the Supreme Director and his father are one and the same. But Commando ends up dropping the hints that, hey, yeah, I work for the Supreme Director. He gave me the tech to do this, to take you guys down, which is probably why the flashbang did a little more than it should have. I'm here because of him, and if he's the one that set this up, then I'm going to kill him. And so, basically, their paths are intertwined now. It's just that Kill doesn't realize it yet. So yeah, it's definitely more of a, interesting type of crossover, because after Kill fighting basically the most powerful superhero team on the planet, to then being taken down to being taken down by a very trained Punisher-like character, it's like, okay, Kill, you need to realize you need to take all your threats seriously. You can't just be cocky, gung-ho, and go in because you have a lot of power. So, it shows Kill that just because he has a lot of power doesn't mean that he can't always be taken down by certain individuals who know how to deal with that. So, it shows Kill that he can't always be cocky just because he has power. And it shows basically the bond that the team has with Matt and how much he means to them, because they go through hoops for 2 to 3 episodes, hunting down Commando, getting different kinds of informants to help them out, to find Commando, to capture him, just so Matt could get closure. This is showing how much, Matt means to them, even if he might be considered one of the weakest on the team. He still matters a lot to them. But yeah, I loved this crossover. I think personally for me at this point, the first crossover still has that little soft spot in my heart, so I think that was still my favorite. But this one I really liked, filming, and a lot of people actually really liked the Commando look. They really loved how he looked. So I really did like the new style that I had for Commando. Like, Commando's definitely, up until this point, besides Kessler, the most unique looking in my opinion, yeah, Cerebrum looks okay, but I think Kessler and Commando definitely have the most unique costumes up until this point. And yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. This was really fun. But with that, guys, minutes one video to close. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to like this video if you did. Don't share this wonderful video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe to unlockable source for more vlog type shit like this. And yeah, so with that, guys, I bring this wonderful video to close. I'm KillZomZone, and I'm out for now. Peace.